So, human beings, as you well know, because you're one of them, have a very active um, mental activity, especially modern men and modern women. The way the society is, the way we've been brought up, and it's been there for thousands of years. It's just getting maybe a little more intense than mind activities. But in the time of Buddha's was already there. That's why he had to go around for 30 years and starving and doing all kind of things because he also had a mind. So if Buddha had a mind, we're cool. No problem. It's natural, it's normal. But what has been happening is that I don't mean you, but for sure me, started believing that this mind activity is who I am, right? And we lose track of who we are because suddenly we focus on this mind activities and we get identified with it. Yeah, so we get really into the story and we think a lot and we think we're going to solve all the problems in the thought, and then I cannot let it go because it's very important, and it's millions and millions of thoughts, and we always think that they're very important, but most of the time they're not. Yeah, but that's what feeds our story, our egoic mind, we could call it. So why is this a problem? Well, it's a problem because, for example, there is very little silence and there's very little space inside of us. And why silence is important? Can't we just keep thinking until we kill ourselves from thinking? Silence is important because it's in silence that the true thing or the reality is revealed to us. It's not through thinking, Through thinking could never grasp anything about what is real. Because what is real is so immense, and the human mind is just like a little expression of that immensity, so tiny. How could we understand anything with such a tiny tool? How can we understand the immensity? Yeah. So that's where silence becomes important, because that's within that space of silence that what is real gets revealed slowly. And the more silent we become, the more it gets revealed. Okay. So it's a choice. Do I want to, use my day and fill it with thinking? Or do I want to have a day that has some thinking when it's needed and some silence when the thinking is not needed? So meditation is a little bit that. It's becoming aware that we are not this thinking process. I like what Eckhart Tolle described it once. He said, the story, or by story I mean he means also the egoic mind that keeps going. The story is the content, and who you are is the container. Yeah. So the mind and all its stories, it's the object, it's the content, what is contained. But what contains it, it's a space and a silence that is behind the thinking. And that's who you are. And so he used to say, unfortunately, modern men, they're completely lost because they believe they are the content. and not the container. So meditation takes us into the container, into realizing, oh, there is space and there is silence. So why is it called the doorway to silence? Because we're going to use sound, or better say, the listening, the sense of listening. This is applied to all senses, but in this situation we use listening. And I would invite you to listen with totality in this hour. I will play live music and then there will be long stretches of silence. And just put all your intensity in the listening, because when we listen with totality, what happens is that the energy of our consciousness goes into listening and it's removed from the mental process. So the mind is like taking away the fuel from a car. Yeah, the car has no fuel anymore, it doesn't move. So it's a great trick. Yeah, it's an anchor into the present moment, using the senses in that way. It's a beautiful thing. The tantric have explored it for thousands of years, and I know why. Yeah, so we're going to have music and silence, and my Guruji, master and lifetime light, Osho, told me once, you have to listen to silence in silence. Yeah. And then everything will be revealed. Wow, okay. When he said it, I was like, not sure what you're talking about, but I'll keep it in mind. But I'm slowly understanding what he was talking about a little bit. So we're going to use this tool, the listening. So listen to the music and listen to the sound. When there will be no music, plenty of sounds, right? There's a lot to listen to. And then, if you want, you can go even deeper and listen to the silence that is behind the sounds, which is the container. Silence contains all sounds. So sounds arise out of silence, disappear into silence. And silence is always there. So, we listen. First, it's easier to listen to sounds. Yeah. When the mind becomes very still, we can also try to listen to the silence behind the sounds.